Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the sports report is on the air. Once again, my friend Gary Patterson and I are here to try to figure out what the devil is going on in the sports scene in Boston.
Okay, there's always something happening.
I'm telling you.
Always something happening.
There is something happening. We are packed with stuff to talk about.
As we sit here on the eve, an hour and a half away from the Bruins-Toronto Game 7, which anybody watching already knows what happened, but we could go on the record.
That's right. All going to have to go on the record.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Get it over with?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm predicting a 4-2 Bruins win with an empty net goal for the fourth goal.
All right. I wish I could. I'm going to go the other way with Toronto.
Yeah.
What has become very apparent to me in watching each one of these games is that Toronto's got a lot of talent.
They just certainly do.
Offensive talent.
Young talent.
Yep. The defense, yeah. Oh, man.
Young talent.
They have got a couple of players there that are just going to be so good. They are now.
Yeah.
But
so do we, though.
The difference is on defense. We've got young defenders who are growing up right before our eyes. Brandon Carlo.
Charlie McAvoy.
Charlie McAvoy.
Both of them have been terrific.
Grzelcyk.
Yep.
And also, I must admit, I thought the Bruins overpaid Torrey Krug. But I got to tell you something. He's worth every penny of it. The kid he's growing by leaps and bounds.
He has. I still have concerns with him on defense, though. I love him on the power play.
Grzelcyk is better.
He's such a facilitator on the power play. And there's been a couple times in this Toronto series where physically he's been overpowered.
He has.
And
Grzelcyk is the same size. Grzelcyk does better in the body-to-body scrub. But Krug is light years ahead of Grzelcyk on offense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love him on the power play. He really facilitates that power play. He's a great passer.
Makes it move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is. He's a great passer.
Yeah.
Great passer. So is Grzelcyk. But he needs another year or two, Grzelcyk.
Yeah. He's going to be good, though.
He's getting it. Yeah. He's getting it.
If he was 2 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier, he'd
be a world beater.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we might as well skip over the Celtics.
Okay.
In our fearless prediction there with Milwaukee.
Yeah. I think Milwaukee's going to win the series.
I saw a couple of Milwaukee games this year, and what I don't like is if Horford's not in the game.
Yeah.
You could drive a Mack truck.
Yeah.
In the lane. There's nobody defending.
Well, the reason why I'm picking Milwaukee, quite frankly, is because Marcus is out. I mean, I think Horford, defending Giannis, the best people on their team, it's Horford. And then it's Marcus. They had Marcus playing him during the year. And Marcus would just make it a smackdown with him. And he can hold his own.
He can.
Yeah.
Marcus is one of the great tough dudes. Yeah.
He's out for the series. So that's why I'm picking Milwaukee. If Marcus was playing, I think I'd be telling you I'm picking the Celtics. But without Marcus, because I don't think Tice can play him. I don't really think.
I don't think Baines can play him.
Baines can play him either. Giannis is just too quick for him.
Tice isn't going to do anything against him.
Yeah, Tice. Yeah.
In fact, they've got to upgrade that position.
They do.
If they ever intend to go any place with this current crowd they have.
Right.
They've got to find a big man or two.
So the question is Robert Williams kid one of them? I don't think he is right now. I don't think he's the answer to play Giannis in this series. So, but anyway.
But there was a couple of genuine centers around.
Mm-hmm.
Back in February and March.
Yeah.
And they could have signed for peanuts.
Right.
That could have got in there and given you
helped.
12 minutes or 15 minutes a game as a genuine center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's let me give you some stuff I got written down here.
Okay.
Joel Embiid,
Yep.
second in flagrant fouls. The league is going to have to harness this lad, or the players will take matters into their own hands, and that's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he'll mature a little bit. And
Yeah, and they have a couple of fights and people get hurt on the sidelines as
Yeah.
it spills into the stands. They're violent players
Yeah.
playing basketball, and they're going to have the NBA's got to step in and they got to say, okay, you're going to have to harness this guy.
yeah, they're big. Yeah, he's big and strong.
Yeah, we are finally seeing the real Gordon Hayward and realizing how good he is.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Complete player.
Yeah.
Boy, the
when he's on his game.
last month or so,
Yeah.
man, he has finally said, I gotta use this leg. And boy, I'll tell you, he moves the ball, facilitates things, brings it
He
up.
does bring a total game.
He does.
He's good at anticipating defensively, anticipating passing lanes and
Yeah.
deflecting passes,
I
intercepting them.
boy, he the complete player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether you happened to catch the Red Sox the other night, but Tim Timmons, home plate umpire, has got to be shooting for the worst umpire in the
Yeah, I
league.
did. I know the game you're talking about. It was just crazily
You know what?
inconsistent.
If some of the umpires, Joe West, low and outside stuff, right.
Yeah.
Now, he's got a zone out there that he calls, but he's consistent with it. This guy, there was no consistency at all.
Yeah.
None.
I mean, those are the guys that are going to drive them towards the computer calling
Electronic devices, yep.
balls and strikes,
Yeah.
like the little box.
That's it, exactly.
You know?
And I don't know what function he'll do behind the plate. I guess calling foul
Yeah.
balls or something.
And I personally would not be in favor of that.
I would not either.
I like, I think they use replay too much already,
Yeah.
generally across sports.
I agree.
A bad call here and there is sometimes part of the game.
By the by, in the fourth game the other night of the Celtics,
Yeah.
there were some very questionable calls by the officials. I don't know whether you noticed this or not, but
don't-
they did not replay one of them.
Really?
Not one.
I may not have been watching. I didn't actually watch that much of that series.
They, it screamed for a replay. Tommy Heinsohn would be screaming, he never touched him.
So was it like a TBS broadcast or a TNT broadcast? It was not the local.
it was the NBA.
Okay.
And they were
Oh, yeah.
not going to allow the officials to be second guessed.
Yeah, the NBA playoffs, to me, they've lost some of their luster because the officiating and home court, home court is like everything. And it's like an accepted thing in the league. Well, if you're home, you're going to get the calls. And it's like, and it's a tough game to call. Okay, it's a really tough game to call because
Number one, you got to be in great
fouls and
physical
charge.
condition.
Right. And I don't like it.
don't like it
and it seems like the officials are too involved in the outcome. Maybe they're fouls, maybe they're not, but it just seems like the officiating is just too much of a
I said it
Impact.
before many times, but it's still true. I swear they make it up as they go along.
Yeah.
Every game. When you see a game in the first half and the Celtics go to the foul line 3 times.
yeah.
Huh?
Well, it depends on the game, right?
Well,
it's
this-
become a 3-point shot league. People don't drive the hoop like they used to.
I should have told you the rest of the story. The other team went to the line 14 times or 16 times or
Yeah.
some foolish amount.
And I'll bet you they were in the paint a lot more, right?
The game has stopped being fun to watch.
Yeah.
Why don't they just have a one-on-one jam competition, and then a 3-point shooting competition, and
Yeah.
call it a game.
I mean, right now I feel like the college game is much better than the pro game.
It is
and
much
I didn't used to feel that way.
I
I
know.
thought the NBA was a better brand of basketball than the colleges. But now, I mean, you watch that NCAA tournament and then you watch the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
What's more entertaining? The NCAA
Well, the
tournament.
enthusiasm of the NCAA
Yeah.
tournament. I mean, these kids are out there playing.
But you watch the NBA playoffs versus the NHL playoffs. I will not watch. I mean, I don't watch neutral NBA playoff games. You know, Houston's playing San Antonio.
Yeah.
I'm not watching that game.
I'm not watching it either.
But a neutral NHL playoff game? Yeah, I'll definitely watch that. Because
I watched my Winnipeg Jets choke
Yeah.
and go down the tubes.
yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know, but the NHL playoffs have been unbelievable.
They are every year. It's amazing.
Odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay down the tubes. Calgary down the tubes.
Tampa Bay, I think the biggest shock of the entire sporting
Yeah.
season
I think so too.
in any sport
Yeah.
is Tampa Bay, their dominance and being swept, not just losing in the first round, being swept by Columbus, who literally qualified for the playoffs the last day of the season. Needed some combinations to work.
And if
The
you
combinations
remember,
worked and they're in the playoffs and they sweep them.
if you remember the last 2 games the Bruins played against Columbus, it was like the Bruins playing King Philip High.
Yeah,
And they
Yeah.
dump Tampa Bay?
in 4 straight.
Yeah. Calgary gets down the
And
tubes.
winning games 5-1.
4-1, they go down the tubes. Winnipeg goes down the tubes. The Pittsburgh Penguins go down the
Yeah.
tubes.
And Washington's on the verge.
Yeah, Washington is in a 7th game tonight.
Yeah.
With the lowly Carolina Hurricane.
So as we sit here an hour before the game, you know, that's why tonight's such a huge game for the Bruins because the path has been cleared.
Yeah.
They'll have home ice the rest
Exactly
of the playoffs.
what my brother said to me this
the
afternoon.
path has been cleared.
Yeah. It's
And
hard to believe.
home ice the rest of the way if they get there, including the finals.
That's something?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk that?
And the teams that I personally feared, you know, Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I didn't think we could beat Tampa Bay.
Nope.
Pittsburgh, I thought we could beat them, but it's Pittsburgh. You know, it's Pittsburgh.
they got some real talent
those
there.
guys know how to win,
They sure do.
right?
Well
And-
coached.
And now they're out of the way.
Yeah.
And Washington, I worry about Washington, even though they
yeah.
weren't that good this year, and they had some turmoil after last year.
You
but-
know, Ovechkin scores 1 million goals from his office.
yeah,
If Greg Shepard was still playing for the Bruins,
Yeah.
or PJ Axelson, they'd be out there covering him
Yeah.
and let the rest
Yeah.
of the gang figure it out.
Yeah.
But they would take him out of the game.
yeah, and that's my thought on Matthews for tonight. By the way, is that they need to cover him.
Yes.
He's got he's getting too many good scoring opportunities.
Too many
and he's
good ones
converting.
is right when
Yeah.
he should be getting knocked on his
And
keys.
somebody needs to be. They can't be 8 feet away from him.
No, you can't leave him alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more than I think Marchand gets left alone, too.
Yeah.
When they go into their weave, and all of a sudden he's off to one side of the net banging in one.
And you know, it's probably by design.
It is. Yeah.
Right? And so kudos to the offense, but defensively tonight, as we tape, they need to find
Some excitement.
they need to find Matthews early and often.
And hang on to him when
And
they
hang
get
on
him.
to 'em.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right.
Yep.
Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah, back in the majors.
Yep, and out. He's gone.
Oh, did they?
Cleveland dumped him.
They did.
Yep.
I know. I did check his stats a few days back, and I noticed he wasn't really doing much.
No, I think it was 139.
Hadn't
he was
played
batting.
much.
Yeah,
I think he hit a home run though.
he did one.
Yeah.
Yep. Chris Sale lost again today.
Team record 0-5 in Chris Sale starts.
Nathan Eovaldi goes under the knife.
Yeah.
Eduardo Rodriguez is still pitching timidly.
Yeah, we need him to take that
Rick
next.
Porcello pitched okay last time out, but he's I think he's tuning it up.
I think he's going to be okay.
And David Price looks pretty good.
Yeah, solid.
Yep.
Coming
The
around.
bullpen is in
disaster.
a major state of flux.
It's a disaster. They do not have a bullpen to
Nope.
compete
Nope.
against the people
This,
they need
this
to
is not
compete
World
against.
Series stuff.
No.
No. And, you
And
know,
we've been talking about this
yeah,
since the end of last season.
I am still convinced the number one problem is that the Red Sox, are bound and determined they're going to stay under the luxury tax.
Yes.
John Henry has
they are.
said it, and then Dave Dombrowski said, no, I've got the green light to do whatever I have to do because that's what Henry told him to say.
So when I was driving here today, I was hearing on the radio that, because they're playing a doubleheader, day night,
Right.
because of the rain out yesterday, that they called up this kid Hernandez,
Yep.
a left-hander who throws 98 miles an hour, and he's had 2 starts, I believe it was in Double-A, and one was terrible because he didn't have any control. He walked a bunch of people. And the other start was pretty good, and that they have actually called him up for tonight's game.
He's
Pitch
got a
and
live
relief.
arm.
Yeah. Where did this kid come from? They drafted
Their
him?
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't have good control.
Yeah, apparently not.
But nonetheless, he's pitching in subterranean land up there in Maine, where the temperature is still 31 degrees at night. You know, I don't understand the Bruins having a farm system in Maine. I don't understand the Red Sox.
Yeah.
I mean, playing this time of year up in Maine is like torture.
Right.
Now, the Paw Sox went public and said, we're looking for a ball team to play in our stadium. Please call us.
Did they?
Yeah. Was a blurb in the Globe in the business section.
Huh.
I'll come to it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Because I would, all things being equal, if you didn't have a contract and all that stuff, I'd move Portland down there in a New York second.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would give the fans, it would keep fan interest up, and
Yeah,
it
you
would
got
probably outdraw the Worcester
Double-A
one.
in Providence, Triple-A in Worcester.
Yeah.
That's a great plan.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
But yeah, Portland, Maine. I mean,
Ook.
you can't, the heck with April. What about May?
Yeah, May's no
May's
week
no-
in the
first
beach,
few weeks of
walking the
May are
beach.
no picnic.
Yeah.
You're talking Memorial Day before you get decent weather.
So they still got ice on Winnipesaukee? It must have, huh?
The ice is still in.
Yeah.
It's out. I saw some cams where it was out around the shore. My brother said it's out around his dock, but the main ice is still in.
going to be in place
Another
for a
week or so.
while. Yeah. I think I told you this, but Caribou, Maine set a annual snowfall record
Uh-oh. Yeah.
up there this year in January.
Wow. Well, speaking for Lake Winnipesaukee, I am very concerned about the water height. We've had problems in years in the past, in the spring. And the water was the highest I've ever seen it in late October because of all that rain.
Yep.
And they weren't allowed to drain it. Usually they drain it way down.
Yep.
And it fills up, so I'm concerned about what...
I think you get every right in the world to be concerned. Yeah. Well, I had Charlie McAvoy and Brandon Carlo along with Torrey Krug to talk about, but we talked about them.
I mean, really, I expected Charlie to take a step, and I thought Krug was pretty good. I'm really excited about Carlo. I think Carlo's taken a big step.
Big
this
step.
year. Big step. And he's a legitimate top
Not
four.
making the mistakes.
Yeah, legitimate top 4 defenseman.
Strong. He taking the bodies. Yeah, I'm very excited about him. Yeah. Well, Tommy Pham is obviously no mastermind, getting picked off first base the other night down in Florida.
Yeah.
He must have gone sound asleep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to figure.
Now, that's maybe why he changes teams.
Could likely be part of the cause, yeah.
We're not going to see him on Jeopardy knocking off
We're not. No, we're not.
the new champion. I'll tell you, the Bruins. I'm going to skip it. I was going to come out a little negative about my friend Bruce Cassidy.
Okay.
He's
You gotta wait till he gets eliminated.
Yeah. He doesn't come across quite the same as Harry Sinden, a Don Cherry, a Pat Burns, a King Clancy, a Scotty. I have a list of them.
Yeah.
But
I think his players play for him, though.
I do. I agree. His players like him.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Yep.
Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah.
Is the fat lady singing?
I think she's on the second verse.
Dave Dombrowski wanted to keep Blake Swihart, who hit .400. So they waived Sandy Leone, no takers. The rest of the league is sharper than the Red Sox brass. And they send him to the Paw Sox and keep Swihart. In order to keep a .400 hitter sharp, you have to play him, right? But Cora wouldn't play him.
Right.
So we get back to the Battle of Wills, and this time Dombrowski caves. I'll tell you, I wonder if Mrs. Henry approves of all this nonsense.
I don't know. Blake Swihart is an enigma, and it's too bad because, as you recall, it wasn't that long ago that Blake Swihart was considered to be one of the top prospects in all of baseball.
Yep. Then he ran into the left field wall and broke his ankle into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah,
so.
John Farrell played him in left field, and he ran into the wall, and it derailed his career, quite frankly.
Yeah. He never was able, and he had a wonderful spring training,
Yeah.
and Cora wouldn't put him in the lineup.
Yeah, and I thought he didn't get a chance, and I don't understand why, and I think part of it had to do with the terrible start by the pitching staff. And I think that he took Swihart, in Cora's mind, I think, might have taken an unfair amount of the criticism, even though he really only caught, how many games did he catch? 1?
3, maybe.
2, 3? He would get put into games on occasion, but I don't think the kicks. So I'm happy for him to go to Arizona.
Made his first appearance last night. Pinch hit and got a single.
Get a chance because, he could be one that got away.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Dombrowski lost the power struggle with Cora.
Yeah.
If I were Dombrowski, I'd be dusting off the old resume.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time, even in the last offseason, after last year, you could have gotten something for Swihart. Now, I know they did. Who knows, right? They got some other kid.
They just got him.
Just so you have a name.
See, they got a kid that batted .255 last year, 60 year in the minus.
Yeah. So they got rid of him, but
Yep.
it's too bad you couldn't have gotten something back as you try to rebuild the farm system.
Yep.
Which
exactly.
They're doing, right?
And it's too bad that Major League Baseball won't allow these teams to trade draft choices.
Yeah.
That would have been an ideal deal.
Yeah.
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 But anywho, now I'm going to float out one of my great theories here.
Okay.
The split between who's going to the White House and who's not is not doing this team any good. You can blame the rift on John Henry. Maybe next time we'll get an owner who is a very wealthy houseplant, who was married to a trophy orchid, and nothing at all will change.
Yeah.
But Henry should have stepped in and said, enough.
Yeah.
That's it. We're either going as a team or we're not going.
Right.
But that's it, and I'll hear no more about it.
And you know what? It should be in all sports. It should be done in the off season. The idea that you wait until the next season starts, and now you got the team together. There's obviously going to be disagreements on the team. In my mind, it should have been, we're either going to show up on the day 1 of spring training, and then on day 2, we're doing it. We're going to the White House. If you want to come, fine. If you don't want to come, fine. But we're going. It's going to be over. and
I
we
would
move forward.
hope
This
that
idea that they won the World Series in October. It's April. You couldn't fit it in there in those 6 months.
Yeah. I'm just very concerned that if one group goes and the other group doesn't, that is not a good bonding technique for the team.
No, it's not.
Because this president is a lightning rod.
He is.
And no good will come of this whole controversy. I just don't.
So I would have been fine with them declining from the beginning. But John Henry didn't want to do that because he would be pounced upon by the right? And so it's unfortunate. But it's just another distraction that they just don't need right now.
Don't need. Yeah.
Right.
And
they got enough to worry
it's
about.
just, he is not a take charge guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't show any emotion at all. And you wonder, who the hell is running the Red Sox?
Yeah.
The Yankees.
His wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. She runs the globe.
But I also think it's Tom Werner is. I don't know if he. I don't know. What the
I'm
Paul.
not impressed with his backbone
right.
either. And Sam Kennedy is just house dressing. I mean, it's just, he's just go through the motions. Sam.
I think Werner has executive skills, though. So
I think you may have something there.
So if he should be able to get the right people in place.
You would think.
Right.
Yeah. And they got a yes man with Sam Kennedy to be the president of the team.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that was a great move, but who knows? Trying to figure this out doesn't seem to work. The Yankees certainly appear snake bit. Their dugout looks more like the rehab ward at Mass General.
Yeah.
If anything happens to Tanaka, they're going to be out of business.
Well, I don't know. They're hanging around. They're 12-10 as we sit here.
Yep.
Which I saw it today. And so when you consider where they've been already with the injuries, and it's going to be a while, they're doing okay, quite frankly.
Yep.
And if they hang around, they're probably not going to be healthy till the end of May.
Well, I think more into June, because then the 60-day disabled list for Jacoby Ellsbury will be up, and he'll be back in the lineup.
But I still like the Yankees to emerge.
I do too.
Yeah. And again, largely because of that bullpen. You compare their bullpen to our bullpen. It's like
unbelievable.
Like the boys and the men.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Dombrowski to say, I like our bullpen.
Yeah.
Give me a break. The legalization of marijuana, they better check where he's been smoking. By the way, our predictions, I said that this is going to be an improved Cincinnati Red team, and I picked the over.
Yeah.
I'm recanting on that. I don't know how stupid I could have been to forget about Kemp and Puig, two of the biggest dogs of all times.
Yeah.
One's hitting 138 and the other one's hitting under 200.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, these are two overpaid bozos.
Yes, they are.
And I don't see how this helps Cincinnati taking them on. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they're off to a bad start. They're in last place. I want to say like 8-13 or something.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are in first place.
Yes, they are. 12-8 as of today. Had some cancellations. Go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's it.
Go Pittsburgh.
Well, we know that Michael Chavis can hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yes, we do.
Let's see what else he can do. By the way, 12 games at the Paw Sox, 4 home runs.
Yeah.
2 of them tape measure shots.
So he has, overcome his past issues, right?
Yep.
And sits as a hot prospect. And so, would you be willing to trade him for a quality relief pitcher?
That's maybe what it'll come down to. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I know that Cora loves our current situation at third base.
Yeah.
And he is in love with this lad. 6 errors in 12 games.
Yeah.
So Chavis may end up over there.
He could.
And Raphael may end up doing a tour down to Pawtucket. to get his head straight.
Well, it depends if he hits.
Yeah.
I mean, long
yeah.
term, he may end up at first base. Long term,
Well,
needed next year.
yeah, yeah, and that could be true. Yeah, but and you got Bobby Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
Now, I meant to look up what he's done so far this year at AA, and I forgot.
But if
there has-
Chavis could bring you a quality reliever that had some term, so not, free agent at the end of the year, but maybe you've got this year and two more years of
next
control,
year,
and you think that it was a quality left-handed reliever,
yeah. Okay.
I'd trade Chavis
Yeah.
because this bullpen is not competitive.
No, and you got Dahlbeck coming, who's another Chavis.
Yeah.
Chavis is better defensively, but
Yeah.
Dahlbeck maybe he might end up over at first.
Or do you consider
Yeah.
trading Devers and keeping?
Well, no, that's another thought.
Yeah.
But Alex Cora loves him.
I know it.
Yeah. I don't know, but they've got a little while, but not a whole heck of a lot longer. I don't think.
Well, they have a bullpen problem
Now,
now.
what? Try this one. All right, the Sox continue to look bad. June rolls around, and we have a pathetic record.
Yeah, we're out of it.
Do we start selling off pieces of this team?
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
would, and that might you start with who are your free agents? Porcello.
Yep.
If Porcello kind of gets his act together, which it looks like he is, but Porcello's a number 3 starter, but he can be a quality number 3 starter. So, would you trade Porcello? Perhaps,
Yeah.
but again, looking to trade off a few pieces to kind of retool. They're not going to rebuild. They're going to retool.
Right.
And they're going to need that $20 million perhaps to get J.D. Martinez to stay because he has the opt-out this year, right?
Does he have a no trade?
I don't know if he has a no trade.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either.
Now, I would guess he's a goner.
Right, but what if his intention is to opt out and go to market? You could trade him and re-sign him
Yep.
And
But
pick
I'm
up-
not going to pay $30 million for him.
and pick up a great price. Right, but when I say go to market, you'll have to go to market. And if somebody comes in and says, I'll pay you $30 million,
Goodbye. But that
You're out.
means he's gone.
Right.
If you took a preemptory move and traded him,
yeah,
you could get some value
right.
instead of just losing. Yeah.
So yeah, I think on July 4th, as we're reading about Danny Ainge restructuring the Celtics,
Again.
the Red Sox will need to see where they are.
Yeah, and I think that the prime guy that really shouldn't buy a new house right now would be Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yeah,
Jackie is snake bit at the plate.
right.
And this is the year that he's got to put it all together. And
Yeah.
I mean, I like the kid. He's a great athlete.
Is he a free agent after this year? Or is it one more?
I think it's one more.
And he has more value.
Yeah. I like the kid. He's a great defensive center fielder.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Kale Meyer.
No, he is. He is.
And then he's red hot for 6 or 7 weeks. But jeepers, I'd like to have somebody that was medium hot for the whole year.
Yeah.
This
Let's see what they do. I mean, they've got a lot of money already tied up now.
Yeah, they do.
And
They do. Look at the Price contract. I
Yeah.
mean, if you
Sale
had that to do
contract, I mean,
over again,
mean-
he's not going to opt out or anything.
Yeah.
He stayed. It's,
I to be honest with you, I just don't get the Chris Sale signing. Why?
why is right.
I mean, you could always do it in July.
That's right. Or in
Or-
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can let him go to market because I don't know. Doesn't look like the same guy. Team record 0-5.
0-5.
I think after today, I think his ERA is 7.63.
So if he was 5-0,
Yeah,
Red Sox would be above 500.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't have your number one pitching spot. I mean, team record, especially these days, is the record, right? Because so many good starting pitchers now, they expect their win. You expect their win total to be 12, 13, 14 because of the way they use the bullpens now.
That's right.
They're only
Exactly.
pitching 5 or 6 innings.
Things have really changed. Yeah. But, well, here's the article about the Paw Sox. Rhode Island officials have officially put the word out. They want proposals from individuals or companies interested in using or redeveloping McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, potentially for a pro sports team that could be replacing the departing Boston Red Sox. So they'll be accepting proposals through April 25th. And they're also soliciting ideas for economic development opportunities for areas near McCoy Stadium.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe something will come of all this.
yeah.
Calgary Flames put up 100 to win 700 for the Cup.
Yeah.
The Bruins put up 100 to win 900 for the Cup. Tampa Bay put up 100 to win $180 for the Cup.
Amazing.
That is, I don't think an odds-on favorite like that has ever been dumped quite the way they were.
Swept and decisively.
Yeah.
Swept. 4, 5. I remember one game. I think it was game 3, right? The game you're down 2-0.
Yep.
You go in the game you have to have, and you lose 5-1.
Tampa Bay, number 1 seed, number 1 betting favorite. Calgary, number 2. The Bruins, number 3. San Jose is still in it. St. Louis is obviously in it. Washington is hanging on. And Winnipeg's out of it. Pittsburgh, Nashville didn't make it.
Did they lose last night?
I forget. But then Pittsburgh and Vegas, Toronto is plus 1,700. The Islanders plus 1,800. The Islanders were the best bet on the board.
They probably were.
Then Carolina 2,000, Columbus 2,200, Dallas 2,200.
I mean,
This is unbelievable.
I know whoever's watching this tape, it's already happened. But sitting here, I honestly think the Bruins could make a run at the Cup.
I think so. Yeah.
They got to win tonight.
But they got to win tonight, and
But after that, should they beat Columbus? Yeah, I think they should.
They manhandle them all year. Yeah.
Right.
2 congressmen want Major League Baseball to provide documents by April 25th tied to its attempt to purchase control of 21 regional sports networks. Sounds to me like Major League Baseball is trying to pull an NFL.
Yeah.
Where the NFL controls all TV.
Yeah.
There is no independent. And now we've got each team having agreements to do their own broadcasting.
Yeah, the industry's changing a lot.
Major League Baseball looks like they are out to grab it.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a good move.
So they can sell it to Disney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lenny Dykstra is suing Ron Darling for things that Ron Darling said in his book.
Really?
Yeah.
Lenny Dykstra.
What a piece of work. Now, here's, the sports writers, they have everything just right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great prognosticators. Spieth, ready to end slump at the Masters.
Oh, yeah. How'd that work out?
I think he finished, 21st or 22nd
He
or
made
something?
the cut, but that's
about it. Mitch Marner, I jotted down these specs. Regular season, Toronto. Mitch Marner, 26 goals, 68 assists, 94 points.
Really good young
Yeah,
player.
I mean, he's what, 20?
He's a restricted free agent,
Yeah.
too. So Toronto has to deal with him. That's a real problem for Toronto. How are they going to sign all these
How
people?
are they going to pay him? John Tavares, 47 goals,
Yeah.
41 assists, 88 points.
They
Both
paid-
of them played all 82 games.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, 37 goals in 68 games. Morgan Riley, 20 goals, 52 assists, 72 points.
Wow. He's a
Nazem,
defenseman, right?
pardon?
He's a
Yeah.
defenseman. Right? Yeah.
Kasperi Kapanen, 20 goals. Nazem Kadri, 16 goals, but he had 26 or 27 last year. I mean, he can score.
Yeah, they got
But
players.
they dumped him down one line. So he's not getting the ice time that he had been getting. Andreas Johnson, 20 goals. Zach Hyman, 21 goals. Patrick Marleau, who's older than you and I, 16 goals. And William Nylander, who they signed,
Yeah.
played 54 games, 7 goals,
Yeah.
20 assists, 27 points. He had a very hard time getting going.
Yeah, he's been buzzing around a bit in the
Yeah.
playoffs, though.
He's a David Krejci type. Not very physical,
Yeah.
but a good puck handler, wonderful passer.
Get in position.
His father played for the Bruins for a little while, part of 1 year. Boy, a good hockey player. Good hockey player. Glenn Sather stepped down as president of the New York Rangers. And
About time.
Now, yeah. Boy, he's made a mess of things lately. 19 years with the Rangers. Did not cover himself with glory here.
No.
The Forrest Gregg passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
The accolades that came in about him were that he was the most wonderful gentleman
Yeah.
in football.
Yeah, sound like-
Everybody respected him.
A quality individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Ben Volen, the Patriots have a plan, right?
Yeah.
And he just goes on to say, I've got a question mark about everything.
Well, they're not done.
No. But the one question mark I circled, we'll talk about the rest of them, but Greg Schiano.
Yeah.
Hey, he's my defensive coordinator, sign him up, blah, 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 and he quits.
Yeah. I don't know what the story behind the story is.
Yeah, I don't know
I think
either.
there is a story behind the
But
story.
it's his faith and his family.
Right.
But
So-
you can do church and be a football coach.
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
see the family too. I don't know.
So I don't know. I don't know if he decided to leave or he and Bill decided to part ways. It's just,
Wouldn't
he
you
was there a
have,
month.
wouldn't you
maybe-
have thought that if he said, this isn't for me, but you know what? I'm going to stick the year out and I'm going to take the paycheck and I'm going to make the best of it and then I want to look at what's out there.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just like bread back on the shelf. He's going to be stale next year.
Yeah.
I don't see what this is a great idea on his part, unless there's something else there.
Well,
I mean, who would have thought Bob Kraft would have
Well, I
got
know.
embroiled in this mess
I know.
that he's in?
Yeah, and maybe he thought, the fact of the matter is, from what you can tell, Bill runs the show. He runs the show from one end to the other, which is why it's comical when he says he wasn't aware of this or that. He's aware of everything.
He's got the paper clips
Right.
counted in the
Yeah.
secretary's desk.
And, it's Bill's way,
Yeah.
period. And so maybe Schiano thought he was going to come in and he was going to be of such a stature that he was going to get more liberty to instill his mark on
freelancing.
his
Yeah.
mark on the on the defense, and that's not the way it works here.
Or how about a play on exactly what you just said with a little different twist?
Okay.
By the way, Greg, this business about defensive coordinator, yeah, I want you in that position, but we'll hold off till next year on the title. We usually do that here. We put a guy in place, and then we figure out whether or not to name him the coordinator.
We don't worry about titles.
And Shiano said, no title, no play. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might have thought he got on his high horse and would bluff Belichick, and that was the end of that story.
Yeah, titles don't really matter there.
No.
Except for Josh. I mean, Josh, I do think Josh has most of the input into the offense.
No question.
I still think Bill is reviewing it with him. Bill knows exactly what he's doing, and he will have his influence on the game plan.
But Bill's defense first.
But Bill's running the defense.
Defense, yeah.
He ran it last year. He's going to run it this year.
And Dante Scarnecchia has a lot to say about the offensive line.
I think he runs the offensive line.
He does. And I think he probably has a lot to say about who they draft also.
And I think Shiano may have come in and said, and I'm going to run the defense. And the answer is no, actually, you're not going to run the defense. You're going to do what I tell you to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill runs the defense.
Yeah. And, it was same thing. Steve Eiserman, when he was playing for the Detroit Red Wings, he made the team when he was 18 years old. And he took right over as captain. He was captain before he was 21 or 22.
Yeah.
And I remember they got Bernie Federko from the St. Louis Blues.
I remember that, yeah.
And Bernie was the captain of the Blues. Bernie came in and started saying things in the dressing room. One of the veterans come up to him and said, "Shut up. This is Stevie's team." Federko told that story.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that he was in charge.
Yeah.
And now he's the GM of Detroit.
Yeah. He just went back, right?
Yeah. And that one was telegraphed pretty well.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you what, Federko, yeah. Eiserman is one of those guys that everything he's done, he's been successful.
Yeah.
He's
a great player.
Yeah. He's going to turn this thing. Well, look what he did with Tampa Bay.
Federko was a good player, too.
Federko was a very good player. Yeah, he sure was. And they got him towards the end of his career, and they figured, boy, oh boy, this is the guy for the, He was surprised. What else have we got here? Brady. This is a good story. They caught the guy that shot the green laser at...
oh, they did?
Yeah, at Brady.
What are they going to do to him?
No, that's a good question, and I don't believe Dwayne Morgan, 64 years old, has been arrested.
64 years old?
Yeah, how about that?
Huh. Dwayne. What are you doing, Dwayne?
Yeah. Facing one count of disturbing the peace.
Disturbing the peace.
A charge that carries a punishment of up to a year behind bars and a fine of $1,000. I think the thing that they may have a lot of problems is proving intent.
Yeah.
That could be a sticky wicket. But if he gets a fine of $1,000 and sits in the prison for 3 months or 4 months,
yeah, that would be.
I think that'd be enough to make most guys say, "I don't think I'll. Don't see any sense to this stuff." That's really stupid. Interesting story too, out of Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers said former coach Mike McCarthy had a low football IQ in a scathing and eye-opening story about their contentious 13-year relationship. Rodgers disliked McCarthy even before he became Packers coach. Well, how about that, huh? And it all goes back, supposedly. McCarthy was the 49ers offensive coordinator 14 years ago, and they picked Alex Smith, number one, ahead of Rodgers.
Interesting.
Rogers carries a grudge for quite a while,
Apparently
doesn't
he does, yeah.
Never forgave McCarthy for that.
Huh.
What an idiot.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they were together for a while. I think McCarthy was overrated as a coach,
There's no doubt about it.
right? I mean,
No doubt about it.
who's
Especially on the offensive end of things.
so he leaves Green Bay. Who's knocking on his door?
Yeah. I forgot whether I mentioned this last time or not, but Vontaze Burfict has been dumped by
Yeah.
the Bengals. Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay tweeted that he's elated to now own an upright piano that John Lennon used to comprise songs for the Beatles.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album was auctioned off. The final price has not been announced, but the estimate sold between $800,000 and $1.2 million. You know, there's people that have too much money
Yeah.
for their own good.
Well, he has a massive collection of
Oh,
of
okay.
this stuff, to the tune of, they think it's over $100 million worth. And he wants to open a museum to display it all. And he supposedly was deciding between opening it in Indianapolis or Nashville.
Okay.
So apparently he is a collector, but does he have entirely too much money? Indeed, he does. And he was a he is a tremendous beneficiary of the randomness of the gene pool.
How absolutely fabulous of you to speak in that type of vernacular. You're moving the bar up on this show.
Yeah.
By the way, so let's talk about the Patriots for
Okay. The last couple
bit.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, first of all, Belichick is a genius, and he knows what he's going to do. And us poor bozos,
Yeah.
I think I'm roughly being polite calling us bozos.
Yeah, yeah.
We just sort of stumble about here. But if you had to nail something down for the Patriots for a strategy for the draft,
Yeah.
would you move up, move down? Would you? Now, part of this is, I'm sure he's got his eye on a couple of the free agents that are still out there.
Yeah.
If I can't draft this guy, the hell with it,
So-
I'm going to
so-
sign this guy.
I think he would like to move down in the first round. So from what I've read on this draft, you know, most draft people think that it's a 1 to 15 draft. So in the first round, there's 15 players that should be in that first round. And then from 15 on, they're saying, depending on how you rate these guys, they could be second, third round picks. So I think Bill, and that the real value in this draft is in the second, third, and fourth round,
Do you think
is what it seems to be a
that
pretty
he
general
is just
consensus.
going to sit under the apple tree and let everybody shake the apples out? And he'll pick up the ones he wants off the ground.
I think he'd like to trade out at 32. I don't think he's going to get a lot for it, though. But the reason why a team will want 32 is if they like a player, then they can sign him and get the fifth-year option. It's a 32nd pick. You're not going to pay him as much as you're paying the third pick. It's all slotted. You get the third, but what you get is that fifth-year option to keep him for reasonable money. If it's a skill position player particularly,
Yeah.
right?
And if it's dog, you can let him go.
Yeah, and if you don't want to exercise the fifth year,
See you later.
but that's as opposed to the next pick, which is the first pick of the second round, where you don't have that fifth-year option. You have a fourth-year option, right? You have 3 years and a fourth-year option. So there is some value to that to teams.
There's a couple of running backs that appear to be blue chippers.
Yeah. That 2 minutes. That might be the kind of guy you want to. A
Do
team
you?
might want to take that first-round pick, have that
But
fifth-year option.
I agree with you. I would like to see him get a second and a fourth.
Yeah.
for dropping down.
Yeah. I think you're going to see him getting picks for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to stockpile next year, because next year's quarterback class is considered better than this year's quarterback class.
Now, do you think Rosen's one and done here? He's not going to go after him? I mean, he's cheap now.
I don't
guess
know.
it all depends what Arizona does.
I mean, he brings some cap hit. He was a top 10 pick. So
1.8.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't either, and he's unproven, totally unproven.
I mean,
But-
Bill evaluated him last year.
Yeah.
So did they like him? I don't know. Nobody's willing to give up a first. You got the last pick in the first round. Would you give it up for him if you really liked him? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I
Because
think
his cost is going to start going up.
if I could nail first-class tight end
Yeah.
for the 32nd pick, a guy that's been in the league 3 or 4 years, and
Yeah.
then
So I think he's going to be active. I think he's going to make his usual 4, 5, 6 trades. At the end of the day, he's going to end up with a lot of 3rd, 4th round picks.
which he
Loves
revels
them,
in.
and the scouts think there's a real talent. This is a great draft for that.
Yeah.
And
The
I think he's going to look to throw some picks to next year.
thing he's
know?
going to go for a defensive lineman.
Yeah, at least one.
Or two.
Yeah.
Another linebacker.
Yep.
Secondary, I think, is in good shape.
I think they could use a safety.
There's going to be plenty of them in the 4th and 5th rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you could grab some kid in the 5th round that you think has the potential to grow into a Patrick Chung replacement in 2 years, I think they do that.
You've got wide receivers. I don't think there's any wide receiver that sticks out.
It's not,
And if
not
it does,
considered
if there
good
is a
draft.
wide receiver there, he's going to be gone, long gone.
This is not considered it's
No.
one of the areas this draft is considered
No.
weak.
So offensive line is
However,
good.
This is supposed to be a really good tight end draft. Again, you got the
That's
three
right.
name, you
Yep,
got the three
the
name
three big
guys,
names. Yep.
2 kids from Iowa and Smith from Alabama. But then there's a bunch of other kids in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round.
That's right. Yeah.
And jewels are going to emerge. Can you get the right
Absolutely.
one? All right?
Absolutely.
So I think they're going to take it. I think they're going to get a tight end. I would say 3rd round.
I would say they probably also should look at an offensive lineman. Now, granted,
Yeah.
offensive line stayed together all year, was tight as a drum, really performed well, but the depth isn't there.
Well, you lost your left tackle.
Well, yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
Now, this kid coming off the DL,
They're going to. I think they will definitely draft a tackle at some
Yeah.
point.
where do you think
And
he
I
can
think
get
they'll look
value?
to pick up another one.
I mean, look at Tooney, and what did they get him in the 4th round?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're already talking that his contract year is up.
But
This is it for him.
It's easier to get interior offensive linemen in the middle rounds than it is tackles, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If the tackles
This,
play, they're going higher.
the-
First,
you-
2nd round.
You got the punter, you got the place kicker, so you don't have to worry about that. You got Bolden, you picked up for depth on special teams. They never should have let him go. And Bolden, they should have been in contact with him and said, cool your jets.
Yeah.
We get a spot for you. We got to do some maneuvering. But they didn't do it. And he got that offer from Miami, and off he went. He said, hey, you know what? Bird in the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll reconvene in 2 weeks and discuss what Bill
Exactly.
actually did.
Yeah.
Because
That-
you know he's going to be active.
That's going to be a fun,
He's gonna be
fun
active.
show. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, folks. I'm sure you didn't learn much here tonight, except that Gary and I are confused about the whole matter.
But we're willing to talk about it.
We're willing to admit it. Very good. Well, listen, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. And come on back and see us in a couple of weeks. We'll have the draft. We'll have more on the Red Sox. We'll have the playoff story on the Celtics and the Bruins.
Yeah.
What the heck more could you ask for?
Gotta love spring.
That's it. Good night, folks.